Well, good morning, Poppa-D riders. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. I am headed down to Pooler, Georgia this morning to do some slow speed skill practice with Robert Simmons. If you're not following his channel, you need to follow his channel, man. It's called Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, and it's all about helping us improve our slow speed skills so that we can handle our motorcycles safely in those circumstances where we're below 10 miles an hour, in parking lots, in traffic, doing U-turns, left and right turns from a stop. If you followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I changed these bars recently because I had some factory 47 bars and they were out here, and I lost all of my confidence in doing slow speed while I had those bars on here, and I've been slowly trying to build that back up. And I practice some, but I don't practice nearly as much as I should. And I wanted to come down here and practice with Robert Simmons. So he had a practice session today. I watched the weather. It looked like I could make a window and get down here in some nice weather. So that's where we're headed today. But I wanted to turn the cameras on. I left the house about 4:30 this morning. So I've been on the road almost 3 hours. I stopped once to put some fuel in the bike and got off and warmed up for a few minutes. It's been about 40 degrees for most of my ride. I'm layered up, got my gloves on, and so I've stayed warm for the most part. But I wanted you guys to see the sky over here, and I think by the time I got the cameras going, it's not as pretty as it was just a couple of minutes ago. But the colors of the sky rising, the sun over here to my left, were just really nice a few minutes ago. And then I got the moon to my right, the sun to my left, and we're headed almost to Savannah, Pooler, Georgia. All right, let's go do some slow speed skills. I'm also riding today for Alfie. You guys know I talked about in my last video that I recently joined an organization called Mile Monsters. And Mile Monsters is to raise awareness for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And we're raising money and awareness to help these boys that have Duchenne's muscular dystrophy live their best life. Alfie is one of those boys. Alfie has a charity also for himself called Fighting for Alfie. Now Alfie lives in Ireland, and Alfie has been in the hospital over the past week or so, and he just came home yesterday. So Alfie, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're home, and today's ride is for you. I'm going to try to make it a mini monster ride. If you guys want information on Mile Monsters, go to Mile Monsters. You can Google it. I think it's Mile Monsters Incorporated. But if you Google Mile Monsters, it'll come up. There's also a Facebook page. If you go to the website, they have something we started this year called Monster Miles. And it's rides that anyone can do. You don't necessarily have to be a long distance rider to do it. And I'm fairly new into the long distance game. These guys that are actually founded this thing, Riot, he's an extreme long distance rider. He's done the Hoka and that kind of thing. Things I'd like to do, I just don't know if my body will allow me to do that anymore. Either way, the Monster Miles that they have set up now is so anyone can do a ride, and they'll certify the ride and give you a digital certificate and some other cool stuff. So the Mini Monster is doing 507 miles in 13 hours or less. Well, I'm going to try to do that. I got a dated time stamp this morning. The issue is I'm riding 520 miles total today, and I'm going to be doing some slow speed practice with Robert Simmons down here for a couple of hours. So it's a good 4-hour ride down, a good 4-hour ride back. So that gives me about a 5-hour window for stops and practice to make the 13 hours. So I may not make the Mini Monster today, but that is basically the entry level for the Monster Mile rides. So go on the website and check it out. You'll pay a little fee for a digital certificate, some cool stuff that they're going to send you. But the most important thing is to raise awareness for Duchenne's and to raise money to help these boys live their best life. I'll put a link in here also for the monster ride I'm doing It's the Monster 100, and I'm doing one of those days, June 10th. I'm going to ride 1,000 miles on June 10th, and I'm trying to raise at least $1,000. And there's a link to that right below in the description. Consider going there and donating to my fund for that 1,000 miles. And in total, we're going to raise hopefully $200,000. So the purpose for that ride is for us to raise money to help Drew, another one of the monsters, get a mobility van for he and his family, and to bring these 4 monsters to a party in Sturgis in August. So consider going to that and donating. I'm trying to raise $1,000 that day, but in total we're trying to raise $200,000 total to help buy that van and give these guys a nice trip to Sturgis. Have a wreck or something going on the other side over there. Red lights and blue lights. An ambulance, fire truck, like they're down off the road into the ditch. All right, let's go on down here to Pooler. I'll see you guys in Georgia. Well, we made it to Pooler. Going to get some breakfast. It is 8:21. I'm supposed to meet Robert at 9 o'clock. I'm about a mile away from where we're meeting. So, yeah, made pretty good time. But it's still, well, now it's 44 degrees. It was 41 when I checked just a couple minutes ago. So hopefully it's going to warm up. My hands are a little cold.
Let's drink a little bit more coffee before I drive off. Maybe I'll make it down there without spilling too much coffee on me.
Hanging moss on the trees, guys. It reminds me so much of home. The old Spanish moss hanging out of the trees. All right, well, I missed my turn. Had to go up and do a U-turn. So, practice slow speed skill before I got there. But this should be me on the left here. It's a different road when you enter. I was looking for Preston Stokes Drive. That's further down in here. So I should have turned here a while ago. But anyways, I've still got about 9 minutes and my coffee's spilling all over me. Probably just splashed on the camera. Wish they'd had a little thing to put in the top of that so it wouldn't be doing that. But at least I got coffee. All right, let's go see if Robert's here yet. He probably is. He probably beat me here. There's coffee everywhere.
So when I first called Robert yesterday, or actually texted him yesterday and said I was going to come up, nobody else was coming. I thought it was going to be just he and I was like, I won't even come down there. You don't have to set this up just for me. But he was willing to do that, just so I could come down and practice with him today, which I think is pretty cool. But Jerry decided to come, so now there's 2 of us here, and Rob's doing his thing, and we're going to learn a lot today.
We did before. Remember, all of these exercises build on one another. What's always step number 1? But we're using the brake. We still want to move, but not too much. Make sure my throttle is steady. Concentrate on keeping it there.
Guys, the audio from my Insta camera is really not all that good. I was hoping that you could hear some of the instruction that Rob was giving us, but he was there every step of the way giving us instruction, helping us learn. These left and right turns from the stop were hard for me, and Rob says this is the exercise that has the highest degree of failure of the whole course. And then Jerry's bike decided to have a little leak. So his bike overheated, just happened to have the camera on and catch that. So he had to go take it and put it in the shade and let it cool off a little bit. And while this was going on, Steve from Florida showed up. Now, the interesting thing about Steve is he's only been riding for 3 months, guys, and he did a phenomenal job. You need to check out Rob's video to see how well Steve did.
So with this exercise, you have to split the difference. You can't go too fast, you can't go too slow. If you go too slow, you can't lean. If you go too fast, good luck, you're not gonna make it. All right? And as far as how wide you go, you can't be hugging the cone, but also don't go so wide. See how wide he's going? Well, look, that motorcycle don't turn like these, right? So he can get away with that. So what I will say is you could go real wide, but then you got to lean like crazy to keep making these turns. So we don't want to do anything extreme. Kind of split the difference, okay? And you're still going past this cone. See, it's also important that we know, just like when we first learned how to drive, one of the most difficult things was judgment. Can my car fit through this? And over time, you can look at it a half a mile away, but I can get right through that. Fly through. Don't even touch the brakes. So it should be easy on the motorcycle to kind of determine where the motorcycle is and it fit. So when you're coming through here, like I know when I'm pulling my trailer, sometimes I feel a little uncertain. But if I'm in the truck by itself, I'm fine. On a motorcycle, you should know I can start turning right here, and I'm not going to hit this cone. But some of you guys are saying, I want to make sure I miss this cone, so you're this far away from it. Now, you just tighten everything else up for you, okay? So make sure you start with this. You got to start right. If it messes up back as we go, we can still fix it. All right, do it.
And just like that, after some practice, some coaching from Rob, I'm out here doing U-turns, which is something I've really not had the confidence to do. And with every one that I did, I gained more and more confidence. Much harder for me to turn to the left than it is the right, and we figured that out on this day. You guys really need to take this course. We did our left and right U-turns. And then the next thing you know, I'm inside a figure 8 box. This is just cool. Sit back and enjoy. Every exercise we did built upon itself. And the entire time, Robert is right beside of you, encouraging you and giving you pointers that are specific to you and how you're riding.
So here I am in the figure 8 box. And then while we were practicing, Barbara CDO showed up and pulled out his drone. So there's some footage here that he sent me to put in the video that he took from his drone, and I've sped it up 8 times faster, so I'm not riding this fast, but thank you for sending me that, Camilo. Man, it was a great day. You guys need to come down and practice with Robert Simmons. It will build your confidence. It will make you a safer rider. Okay guys, here we are playing Follow the Leader. Everyone got a mulligan, so if you put your foot down, if you didn't do exactly what Rob did, you're out. And you have 2 chances at that. And when you get out, they circle you and blow their horns at you. My audio is terrible, so we're just going to listen to some music while I show you guys some of the fun we had on the Follow the Leader. Here we are circling Steve so he can get his mulligan. I'll tell you that before today I didn't have the skills necessary to stay in this as long as I did. But Robert kept us going and we had a great time. And don't be fooled, Robert knows each one of our weaknesses, so he knows I have a hard time left right turns from a stop, and especially on the narrow sidewalk. So here's my mulligan. Guys, this is an 18-foot U-turn, and I almost made it, but I hit this cone right there, and that eliminated me from the Follow the Leader. Man, I had a great day. You guys need to come down and practice with Robert sometime. And if you're in the Charlotte area, let's put together some practice sessions right here in our local area.
I'm Tim Marshburn.
I'm JT.
JT. That's Vanessa.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Crystal. Hey, Miss Vanessa Crystal. Nice to meet you. I'm doing great.
So Finesse the Challenger, another YouTuber, and his wife showed up with a friend on some Indians, and they joined us for the slow race. This was a great ending of the day, and then it was time to head home.
All right, guys, I'm leaving the practice session, and I I also wanted to come back on here and tell you that today I'm also riding for the Mile Monsters. If you watched my last video, I talked about that I'm going to do a monster mile ride, the Monster 100, in June, where I'm riding 1,000 miles on a particular day to raise $1,000 for these kids that have Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And so I'm dedicating today's ride to Alfie. Alfie is one of the 4 boys, we're calling Monsters, that has Duchenne's, and he just got out of the hospital. So Alfie, today's ride is for you. I'm also making this a monster ride. So they just released this year that they're going to have these monster mile rides. So if you go to Monster Mile Incorporated or Monster Miles, just look that up. Mile Monsters, I'm sorry. If you look up Mile Monsters on the internet, you should come to their site, and they got it on Facebook as well. So milemonsters.com or .org, I can't remember. But go to Mile Monsters and look at the monster miles. There's several different ones that you can do. You don't have to be a long distance or an endurance rider to do it. Now Riot, the guy that started the Mile Monsters, those guys are extreme long distance riders. Like they've done the Hoka Hay and that kind of thing. And that's how he started Mile Monsters. So it's a podcast about that. But go to Mile Monsters, and they have these different rides that you can do. And so their Monster Mini is riding 507 miles in 13 hours or less. So I think I can make it back home. It is now 1:03, and I left at 4:30 this morning. So if I make it home by 5:30, I can get in my 507 mile ride today for a Monster Mini. And when you complete one of these Monster Mile rides, you get a digital certificate and some other cool stuff. But the most important thing is you're able to contribute. You pay for that, they certify your ride just like the Iron Butt does, maybe not the same exact rules, but they have rules for each ride. You complete the ride under those rules, you'll get a digital certificate. But the most important thing is we are raising funds to help these kids that have Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And so I'm going to make this a monster mile ride today, and a 507 mile ride by the time I get home. So if you like this kind of content, guys, subscribe to my channel, come back and ride with me again sometime. I'm not typically doing the practice sessions with Robert. That's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I came down here in the past and tried it, and I had done an Iron Butt the day before, and I was just wiped out and not up to practicing and concentrating all that slow speed stuff. But it's important. It helps us stay safe on our motorcycles. And thank you, Robert, for hosting this today. He was going to do it for just me. I'm glad some other folks showed up, but he was going to host that just for me to come down and practice today. And I think that's pretty awesome. It speaks high of Robert and what he's all about. He's all about helping us to be safer riders and become the boss of our motorcycle. So guys, like I said, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to do better with it. Got a lot of plans for rides this year. Hopefully I can do those. I appreciate you following along with me today. Be blessed, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next ride.